Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing The Sims 4 and we're doing a little room build. I decided on a lark to build a nursery. I just really wanted to build something. I originally wanted to build something for newborns. You'll see I pull out the little baby bassinets to start. But I found that the original idea that came from the really flowy pretty bassinet wasn't as fully fledged out as I had hoped. So I ended up going for something for infants, which makes much more sense. The infant stage is much longer. And it ended up turning out really cute. It's nowhere near the original plan. To clarify, the end result and the original idea, the spark of inspiration there, vastly different. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. And as someone who kind of tends to shoehorn infants into wherever they fit, it's gonna be nice for me to have a nursery hanging around that I can just plop onto the end of a building. I tend to stick my infants in the parents' room or in a sibling's room, or depending how frustrating they're being, sometimes all their stuff just ends up in the living room, which I feel like is very true to real life, but maybe not the most exciting in The Sims. Here you can see for a little while I was trying to do the newborn stage and the infant stage. I really wanted to stick with this bassinet. This was the item I wanted to use. I ended up not, but it's okay because, like I said, the end result still sort of worked in the way I wanted. I want to come back and revisit this bassinet, but I think maybe I might end up delving into some CC to build a newborn's room with that bassinet because it's very cute and dainty and wrought iron, and we don't have a lot of that for our infants and toddlers. We have a little bit of wrought iron and can be a little more dainty with our kids stuff, but that sort of beautiful classic, I don't even know what you would call it, sort of fairy tale book style room is not really achievable for toddlers and infants, at least in the way I'm thinking about it. It would be an interesting challenge to continue to work on. So I went a little bit differently. I just went with a soft pink room for a little guy or a little gal, whoever enjoys it. I went with a custom little space for the the crib. There we go. I've forgotten the words. And I think it turns out quite cozy. I made use of the new pillows that we got with the login event. Those I unlocked, I think, halfway through this build. This build had the unfortunate timing to be during a little bit of a crazy week in my life. So it got kind of ignored for a little while, which is, I know, the story of my life lately. But it was in the midst of when I was doing my grandma's birthday party and stuff. For those of you who have heard me talk about that, through my grandma's surprise 80th birthday party. And I tried to stick everything going on in my life just into one day, so that I had a couple of days to prep for this and pull this off, because I had people sneaking in from out of town. I had rented a whole venue. It was kind of like a pseudo family reunion as well. So it took a lot. And then 2 days later my cousin got married, so there was a lot going on that weekend. Excuse me while I sip some warm tea. I was grading my arena this morning, and it was quite a dusty job, and I haven't had the time to get quite cleaned up yet, so I'm a little bit of a pig pen walking around, for those of you familiar with Peanuts, and leaving a little dust cloud everywhere I go. And unfortunately, I thought I had another mask in my tack room, because sometimes I'll wear a dust filtery mask, and I thought I had another filter, and I did not, so I did not have a mask for today's endeavor. It was very dusty, so you'll have to please excuse the sipping on tea. Yeah, here's the new pillows. I ended up going with a little bit of green to try to tie in the crib, because that white crib only comes with pretty much that green swatch, or I think there's a kind of off blue and maybe a white, but I wanted color. Well, actually, I think maybe the white comes with the cream wood. I don't remember. So I wanted to tie the pink and the green together, and I thought it was nice to have a complementary color. I wasn't really looking to do a traditional pink and green room. Originally, I was going to do pinks and soft whites. Well, soft pinks and whites is maybe the better way to say that. But the green is a very light touch through the room, and I think it's actually very helpful in the long run. And it's very it helps lend itself to a little bit of a garden theme, a little bit of a flowery thing. I did fight with trying to make these look like they would go all the way across the window. Looking at this now, you know what's something I don't do very often, but I should do in my bay windows maybe? Instead of pulling the curtain into the bay window like I have it here, I wonder what would happen if I pulled it across. Is that a common thing with bay windows? I've lived, in fact, both of these standalone structures that I've lived in, where I wasn't just renting a room, but I actually was like in a full structure, this house and my childhood home, both of them have had bay windows, but both of them have just had blinds on the bay window. And I love blinds in real life. I think blinds are a really good call in real life, but I don't love the way they look in The Sims, because my favorite thing about blinds is that they can go like up to the top or down or wherever you put them and be out of the way and open the window. But since you can't do that in The Sims 4, I don't love putting blinds on my windows because they block so much of the window, you know? So I've never put curtains on my bay windows in real life, and I don't really know how you would put curtains on your bay window in real life. And that's kind of an interesting thought. I did put some toys in this room. I don't recall sticking with the dollhouse, but I do stick some toys in this room, which being an infant, they won't use, but being a toddler, they will. And you can slot a toddler bed right in where that crib is. In fact, I think that crib converts into a toddler bed. So that's easy enough. And then the only problem would be where to stick the kids' bed. But at that point, maybe it's not so much of a problem because you could get rid of the dressing table, right? Not the dressing table. What are those called? Changing table. There we go. And you could maybe put a dresser where the toddler bed is and a kid's bed where the dressing table is. Changing table. I'm going to make that mistake several times. Or you could put the kid's bed on that wall and continue. You know, there's lots of options, but you may just have to change the way the canopy part of this bed works. And then I put a lot of little clutter. I did put a candle in here. A controversial opinion because obviously it's a baby. But it's also a baby, it's up high. I'm sure it's only lit when the mom is around and reading or hanging out in there. And if we're being quite honest, we can just say it's a fake candle. It's not like it's going to catch anything on fire in The Sims. Here I was playing with the idea of having like a pretty ornamental horse carriage, but it's a toy, so they'll play with it. And I was like, really? That's, again, not the new vibe we're going for. The new vibe here is a little bit more contemporary. That would have gone really well in like the newborns room. But I couldn't make that one pull together. So we're shelving that one. We're thinking about that for later on. And I think I'd have to stick it somewhere where Sims can get to it, because adults will play with the toy. Well, not play with, but they'll move the toys around too. Yes, I believe so. So I went ahead and just stuck some little toys for, I think that little rattle the infants can play with, but the other two I believe toddlers can play with. And I stuck a little bear in the crib. Now I did play test part of this, but I didn't actually play test it with the bear. I don't recall. So it is possible you will have to move the bear. You have to see. And you may have to wiggle things around depending. The Sims pathing can be kind of weird, I'll be honest with you. But this has worked for me before, and this has worked when I tested it, but then I didn't test the end results. So worth maybe doing your own recognizance here. Went ahead and put the playmat down because the playmat's super important for actual infant development, and then I just pulled out a bunch of the baby clutter here because I wanted it to be a very functional room. Because again, like I said, I usually just stick my infants kind of in the corner wherever, which is such a weird phrase, but I wanted an actual space for them. I wanted a place where like it looked like this was set up to be theirs. And I really love the like warm tones that this room ends up putting off. There's not a lot of like stark white light, and you guys know I've been going through a lamp phase in this game, and I feel like this room really felt cozy, especially with the rain outside. It's been raining in my game for ages because I've been predominantly building, not playing, so the time hasn't really cycled through very much, at least not in this save. And it's been kind of funny with this storm and most of the world's coming through. There's been a very cozy like stay inside vibe to my game, which is really funny. Here I am trying to like stack through a bunch of stuff to make it look like it is actually a kid's space. It is floating a little bit. We don't need to talk about it. Sometimes things just gotta float a little bit. I probably should have stuck them on that shelf, but I don't always think about that trick. The trick is one of those that doesn't stick in my head very often, which is kind of funny. Here I am trying to figure out what to put back on that dresser. I don't think either of these dressers are super reachable right now, but the kids' toys will move, so then that dresser would become usable. And I don't think it really matters until it becomes a toddler and or kids room. I don't think you probably really need a dresser until then. I do have a trash can on the end of the changing table. Oh boy. I'm going to keep messing that up so that your Sims will actually throw away the dirty diapers, but that does mean there's now a trash can in your house that you have to remember to empty. I'm very tired, can you tell? That you have to remember to empty that isn't in the kitchen. And if you're like me and forget, it'll get smelly. So, not in real life. I don't forget to take out my trash in real life. I mean specifically in The Sims, I forget to check around for trash cans in The Sims. Can you imagine imagine if I forgot to take out the trash in my own home. Now, admittedly, when I was sick there for a month, about a month and a half ago, when I spent like the entire month of, has it been 2 months? Wow. The entire month of April, basically. Oh, or was it May? I don't remember. I spent basically an entire month sick. I'm not gonna lie, trash going out of the house moved much slower. I was like, I don't want to, because my driveway goes up a hill, and I'd have to walk I didn't want to do that. So yeah, I did get lazy then, but no, what I meant was, in The Sims, you have to remember to empty your indoor trash cans if you put them elsewhere. But I feel like if you have an infant, you're probably gonna spend a lot of time in the infant room, and therefore, you'll remember to empty your trash. So, and it's just nice, because then they're not throwing like diapers all over the place. You can also, I think, switch the cloth diapers, and then that prevents that as well. But I have not like played around with that a ton, so I wouldn't know for certain on that front. And I was playing around with a little bit of shiplap. I do think I leave it, but I don't think I used what I used there. I think I ended up picking a slightly different slab, but I could be wrong. And then this beautiful kind of warm wood floor, I thought really kind of finished it up, made it look nice. And I do put a rug down. I cannot tell you which rug offhand, but I do end up putting a rug down to just kind of pull the space together and to make it a little bit more baby friendly, because, you know, some people use, we get bonks and we don't want to bonks our head. So that way when they're learning to crawl, learning to do things, learning to play with the little mat, if they end up coming off the mat, it's not a big deal, no bonks, no worries. And then just throw in a little bit of decor around. To be honest with you, I think if I was going to put this in my game, which I do plan to, if I was going to put this in my game, what I would most likely do is when my kid is born, save their little footy print and the birth certificate. I would probably put those above the crib instead of what I have there. I like what I have there, and I would probably move that somewhere else. But I'd probably do the birth certificate and the little footy print in there, because I just think that's such a cute touch. And here I was just doing some little kid-friendly decor, just filling up the walls a little bit, making it look a little bit more homey, a little bit more loved. And, you know, a lot of this decor can grow as you get a little toddler. As your little toddler grows into a kid, if they still like pink, they can maybe keep a pink cupcakey kind of candy room. Maybe they grow into a different color and you're changing everything out anyway. Maybe they're going through a phase, who knows. I personally went through the jungle phase when I turned like into an actual kid who cared about their room space. But anyways, this is the little nursery. I really like it. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. It's very warm and cozy. I could definitely see having a little Sam's baby in here, having a good time, having a mama hug him or a little papa take care of him. Really, really cute. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope it fits well in your house. I tend to do bay windows. I hope that's not a problem. But anyways, guys, I think I'll go ahead and leave it here. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place. I'll catch you next, I think, with a Minecraft build, and after that, another Sims build. We're well on our way to catching back up. Alright, love you guys. Bye. Mwah.